Most people think small towns die quietly, but Andrew learned, too late, that some towns don't die at all. Some towns breathe. And when he drove into that forgotten place off the state highway, a place not on any map, he became the first outsider the town had inhaled in years. What happened in those 12 hours changed his understanding of silence, of darkness, and of what it means for something inhuman to wait patiently, just beneath the world we think we know. My name is Andrew, and for years I've avoided talking about what happened in that town. Not because I'm afraid people won't believe me, but because I'm afraid someone will. It started during a solo road trip across the Midwest last fall. I was driving from Colorado to Illinois, taking back roads to avoid storms and traffic. My phone barely had service, but I had downloaded maps in advance, or so I thought. Around 7 p.m., the GPS suddenly glitched and froze. The screen went white. Then the whole system restarted. When it came back, the route had changed on its own. A single new road, a single new destination. Brenton Hollow, 12 miles. I had never saved that name, never searched it, never even heard of it. But the sky was darkening, my gas was low, and the nearest known town was 40 miles behind me. So I followed the road that should not have existed. The moment I turned onto that narrow 2-lane road, I felt something change. You know that pressure in your ears when you're in a plane? It was like that, but heavier, like breathing through sand. The trees curved inward, forming a tunnel. Every branch looked like a reaching arm. The air grew thicker, warmer, almost humid. Then the smell hit me. Not decay. Not exactly. Something like damp fabric locked away for years. A smell that felt old. After 10 minutes, the forest opened, and I saw a wooden sign leaning crooked in the dirt. Welcome to Brenton Hollow. EST 1889. Population. The number below was erased, not scratched, not weathered, just wiped. I slowed down. The town was small, maybe a few dozen buildings clustered together, many boarded up. But there were lights in some windows. Street lamps flickered like dying candles. Yet not a single person anywhere. Not walking, not driving, not even silhouettes in the windows. But I heard something. A low, continuous sound. A sound like breathing. I parked near what looked like the town center. The moment I stepped out, the air felt wrong. Warm and cold at the same time, like exhaling into a freezer. And the breathing sound became clearer. A slow inhale, a slower exhale. I convinced myself it was wind passing through broken buildings. But there was no wind, not even a whisper. The entire town felt held, as if waiting. I walked toward the only lit building, a small diner. The neon sign buzzed, flickering between diner and die like a cruel joke. When I opened the door, a bell jingled, but there was no one inside. No customers, no staff, just plats set on tables, coffee cups half full, still steaming. Like everyone stood up and left at the same exact second. The breathing sound grew louder, but the diner door was still. As I walked back outside, I noticed something across the street. A figure standing behind a second-floor window of a boarded-up house. A tall man, motionless, just watching. I waved a hesitant hand. He didn't move. I looked down for a split second. And when I looked back up, he was gone. No footsteps, no shadow, just empty glass staring at me like an unblinking eye. For the first time, I felt real fear. I decided to leave. I rushed back to my car and started the engine. The GPS stayed glitchy, but the road behind me was clear. I hit the gas. But after a few minutes, something felt wrong. The same crooked tree, the same collapsed barn, the same torn billboard. I had driven in a perfect circle without turning once. I tried again, faster. Same thing. The town kept looping, like it was keeping me inside. I yelled, slammed the steering wheel, cursed at the darkness. And then I heard the sound, not the breathing. Something new. A long, slow whisper right behind my ear. Stay. I spun around. No one there. But the car's back seat felt suddenly wrong. Like something had just moved. I abandoned the car and ran toward a small house with lights on. I didn't care who was inside. I just needed another human being. I banged on the door. Hello, I need help! I'm lost! The door opened slowly. An elderly woman stood there. Her face pale, her eyes wide and glassy, like she hadn't slept in years. She whispered, barely audible, "You shouldn't have come here." Before I could respond, another voice echoed from deeper inside the house. "Bring him inside." The old woman shook her head. Her trembling hand gripped my wrist. "Run." I didn't wait for more. I sprinted away as the door behind me slammed with unnatural force. The breathing sound grew louder, faster, hungrier. As I reached the center of the town again, I froze. Because the ground beneath my feet moved, very slightly, but enough to feel. The dirt bulged, then flattened. Bulged, then flattened. As if the earth itself was inhaling and exhaling. I crouched, touched the ground, and it was warm, alive. Something beneath the town was breathing, and it was getting faster. At the far end of Main Street, a shape stepped out from behind a building. Not a person. A silhouette too tall, too thin, limbs bending at angles that made no sense. Its head was long, featureless, like a stretched mask. It didn't walk toward me. It glided, silent, smooth, drawn forward like a puppet on invisible strings. The breathing synced with its movements. Every time it got closer, I ran. The only safe-looking place was a church at the edge of town. Its doors were open, candles lit, like someone had recently been inside. I rushed in, slammed the doors shut. Inside, the air was cold, refreshingly cold, and quiet. For the first time since arriving, I couldn't hear the breathing. I collapsed into a pew, trying to make sense of everything. Then I noticed something carved into the wooden floor. Dozens of names. Hundreds. The last name carved was Andrew J., 2023. My full first name, the initial of my last name, and the current year. Carved before I ever stepped into that church. A voice behind me said, "You're already part of it." A man stepped out of the shadows, a priest, or what looked like one. His collar was crooked, his eyes sunken deep into his skull, almost bruised looking. I begged him for help. He didn't speak at first. He simply pointed to the floor beneath us. "The town is alive," he whispered. "It breathes, it feeds, and it keeps what it takes." He walked closer. But every so often, someone gets out. He leaned forward. "If they listen." He stepped closer still. Too close. And in that moment, I realized his chest wasn't rising. He wasn't breathing at all. Yet the floor beneath him pulsed. With every beat, his eyes twitched in sync. He wasn't alive. Not anymore. I bolted past him. The doors blew open like something pushed them for me. The thin creature was outside, crawling along a building like a spider. The townspeople had emerged now, dozens of them, faces hollow, skin sagging, walking in jerky motions like their bones didn't fit right. And the town's breathing was now rapid, desperate, excited. I sprinted to my car, started it, didn't look back. This time, the road didn't loop. The forest broke open. Stars appeared. The air cleared. I didn't stop driving for 2 hours. When I reached a gas station, I stumbled inside and begged the cashier to call the police. When I said the name Brenton Hollow, the cashier frowned. "There's no town by that name," he said. "Not anywhere in this state." I insisted. He shrugged. "Never heard of it. And I've lived here 50 years. Later, I checked every map I could find. No Brenton Hollow, no forgotten towns, no erased populations, nothing. Except one thing, When I got home, I checked my car's GPS history. It was wiped completely clean, except for one saved location. Home, Brenton Hollow. If you ever see a road appear on your GPS that wasn't there before, if you ever notice a town that doesn't show up on maps, if you ever hear breathing in a place where the air should be still, don't stop. Don't look. Don't breathe. Just drive, and hope the town doesn't follow you home. Thank you for watching. This is Fearnity, where fear never ends.